Hey everybody, it's Dr. Joe's in the house, live and direct, as they say, and back in the Washington D.C. area, back after a fantastic vacation. As you know, I was gone for 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, and I went to East Africa, and I went to let's have a look. Went to Uganda, stayed in Kampala, which is the capital of Uganda, and then went to Tanzania. And in Tanzania, there are two places where we went to. The place called Zanzibar, which is an island off the coast of Tanzania, and then went over to the Serengeti, which is where the safaris are. So Serengeti, there's Ngorongoro, there's Arusha, there's a bunch of different places up there in Tanzania. Did 5.5 days, 5 days of safari. So all the big animals, the elephants, the lions, the cheetahs, the giraffes, the zebras, the wildebeest. We saw them all real close. In fact, almost was chased by an elephant. One time. Saw the rhinos, the hippos, and so on. And so we did that, and then we saw this place called Ngorongoro crater, which is one of the birthplaces of civilization, and that was fantastic. You should see that one. And then went to Arusha, which is a city up, the northern part of Tanzania. Spent after the safari, we spent a night up in a five-star hotel, very very nice, very refreshing, and then went through on the way back to Kampala. Stopped through Nairobi, which is the capital of Kenya, and went back to Kampala, which is the capital of Uganda, and spent some time down there. It was amazing. I learned a lot from that experience, and learned a lot about the people, the culture, the foods, the social life, priorities that people have. It was just very educational and very enlightening. And what it got me thinking about was maybe we should do that. I'll do that again. Spend more time traveling. As you know, my goal is to do at least 3 countries per year, but we'll do more travel, and maybe I think I'm going to try to go to West Africa and Ghana, maybe in November, in a couple of months from now, and then maybe do more trips to Africa, different parts, different countries in 2025. And for those people who may be interested, maybe one of the days I'll do a trip, and anyone who's interested, maybe a small group, will come on down. Maybe go to Ghana and spend some time down there. Go to different places, different sightseeing. Get immersed in local culture. Go to places where the locals go, meet people. Go to a lot of cultural events, entertainment events. So I think that it's a wonderful experience for those who haven't done it before, and just to kind of get outside of the USA and see other places, meet other people, expand your mind, expand your horizons, and so on. So if you think that's something that you may be interested in, let me know. Maybe I'll pull together a little trip sometime next year, and maybe for a handful of people, we'll go on down there for a week or two and get immersed in the culture, the people, the foods, and hopefully expand your mind. So that really was the premise of that trip. Coming back was to thought, maybe I'll have a session today on really, I kind of call it mastering money and meaning, how to achieve financial independence and live purposely. Because I think that's what, for a lot of people, that's what we want. We want to live a purposeful life, something that's not just about just getting money. Obviously, money is important, but it's not the be all and end all. And there's a lot more to life, which is what I'm finding, than chasing money, and really having your priorities set, and I just call it living a purposeful life. So that's the reason why I chose today's topic, and I'm going to do a deeper dive into what it means to me, and how these trips to other countries has changed in my perspective. I think this year we've been to, obviously we've done Ghana. I think earlier on the year we did Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Cancun, not Cancun, it's Cozumel, and now we've done Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya. So yeah, so I mean, I enjoy traveling, as you know, and so let's talk about what does it mean by mastering money and meaning, and how to achieve financial independence and live a purposeful life. Because I think we all want to have, I think we all should be striving for something. And from my perspective, why is it important? The question is why is it important to align financial independence with purpose? To me, that is really the key to success. So, because achieving financial independence, I think in the media we kind of are positioned to think that that is the pinnacle of success. That for real estate investors, that we've got financial independence, and therefore we've hit nirvana. Okay, we've made it. And but the question becomes, once you've achieved that, you know, what happens next? I think a lot of investors fall into the trap of, well, okay, we've got that, now let's chase after more and more and more and more. Only find that they're kind of disconnected from what really, really, truly matters in life. What's important in life is not just about the money, in my opinion. And so it raises the fundamental question: is financial freedom or financial independence, is that enough? If it doesn't really align with your greater purpose and a deeper purpose that we all, I think, have. And financial independence, accumulating more wealth is good, but it's not the be all and end all. I think it's, for me anyway, it's all about creating options. Having control of your time. That's what it means for me. Is the ability to do things which I otherwise would not be able to do when I was in the corporate environment. And obviously, money is important. You got to pay bills. You've got to take care of, personal, family, and responsibilities. I get that part, but I think that having aligning your wealth goals with the meaning of your life, what's important to you, I think is really, really important. As I said before, for me, it's spending more time with doing things I want to do, spending time with people who I want to spend time with, and it's giving me really a better sense of who I am and what this is all about. And what triggered this for me was a conversation I had with my mother, in fact, several years ago, when she was saying, she's a typical mother. I don't think she's listening today. But she just said to me, Joe, why are you buying all these houses? When is enough enough? Okay, when is enough enough? Why are you buying more? What's the end game? And and I think that a lot of us get caught up in that. We just want to keep on buying stuff. We just want to accumulate money. For what? When is enough enough? And if you're not careful, you get out of balance, where you're striving and chasing after something at the detriment of other things, other more important things, especially family, relationships, people, and so forth. So I'm going to kind of do a deeper dive into this. But as usual today, if you got some questions, put them in the chat box. We're going to have a Q&A session, Ask Dr. Joe, a bit later on. So put some questions in there. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Anything pertaining to what I talk about today. It could be anything to do with real estate investing. If you've got a question or an issue or a challenge that you're facing on real estate, feel free to put them in the chat box. And I'll definitely go to them in the Ask Dr. Joe session, which is about 20 minutes from now. And for those people who want more one-on-one time with me, you can always book a one-on-one session with me where we can do a deep dive into a situational problem that you may be facing, a challenge that you may be facing. I had a couple of Ask I call them Ask Dr. Joe. I've had a couple of those this week, and I've got several scheduled for next week. So they're really, really good. And so feel free to go to my website, joeacimo.com, and then you could book a one-on-one with me, and so on. So I suppose the first question is, is how can real estate help you achieve financial events? I think we all know that real estate is a vehicle that's allowed me to attain that goal, that milestone that I was aiming for when I first started over 30 years ago. I was working a 9-to-5 job. My boss had been fired, and and he told me, he advised me, look, Joe, make sure you have a plan B, because what happened to me, he got fired, could just as well happen to you. And that's what he told me. And he suggested I check into or look into real estate investing, because at that time, I think this guy had like 10 houses, which I really couldn't fathom how anybody could have more than one house. But this guy had 10. He said, I'm okay. I have this rental income coming through. But whatever you do, this is what he told me. Whatever you do, Joe, please make sure you keep your houses, don't sell them. And that's essentially was the start of my journey. It was a slow journey. I wasn't making much money, cash flow. I had a job. I think my first house I was making $50 in cash flow. And I had the tenants from hell on this property that I first purchased. It was a disaster. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And I was just saying, whoa me, what did I do to deserve this? But I stuck with it and kept on acquiring more once I learned from my mistakes, and just kept on going until I reached that milestone in 2003 when my income for my rental properties equaled what I was making at my job. And I was able to transition out of that. So it's a slow journey, and real estate can work, but you got to know what you're doing. You got to do it right. You got to have the right systems, relationships, and networks in order to do this. So we all know that real estate can be a vehicle towards financial independence. There are benefits that we all know about real estate: cash flow, tax benefits, appreciation, leverage, and things like that. But you can build a consistent wealth streams through the real estate, especially if you acquire properties in areas where they can appreciate in value over time, especially if you can figure out how to get tenants and keep tenants and make sure the tenants pay the rent, make sure the tenants take care of the property. If you can figure those things out, then real estate can be a vehicle towards financial independence. It can be, because I've proven it. It's been time tested and it works. So I don't think we need to debate that. But in terms of me, I was looking for passive income. There's really no thing as passive income. I wanted to get income which was very reliable, if you would put it that way. And that's what kind of led me to the Section 8, model, because, we go through business cycles. People lose their jobs. The economy goes through downturns. And if you're not careful, you rent to tenants who can't pay you, then you have a problem. There's nothing worse than having a great tenant who lost their job. They're good people. They just can't pay you the rent. And now you got to have a very uncomfortable discussion. So that passive income stream is definitely doable, but it's not always as easy to attain as what people make it to be. You've got to have good tenants. You've got to have tenants that hopefully are going to take care of your property. And hopefully you got tenants that are not going to drive you crazy, i.e. you don't want the tenants from hell. And I've had those, I can tell you that. So in order to master financial independence through real estate, you've got to acquire properties that generate consistent, I want to say highlight, it's consistent cash flow, and they appreciate over time. It's not a matter of, well, do you want to choose cash flow or do you want to focus on appreciation? I want to have both. So the assets have to support itself, but also it's got to be in a location whereby over time it's going to increase in value, because that's how you really build your wealth. And so on. So when you are looking to purchase your properties, take that into consideration. It's nice to make $100, $200, $500 a month, in terms of positive cash flow. But really, in my opinion, the real money is owning this asset that goes from, let's say, $100,000 to $500,000, $600,000 in a few years from now. Obviously, you want property that appreciate in value. Also, you want to diversify or mitigate your risks. Okay, so in my opinion, the most successful real estate investors, you know, they take a long-term view. It doesn't happen overnight. It requires a long-term strategy. It requires patience, and also it requires you to adapt to the changing environment that's taken place. Nothing is static. We go through cycles. We go through good times and bad times, but you got to be able to adapt to those new realities. So whether you're starting out, building your portfolio, I think you must prioritize those things which I've just talked about in terms of cash flow, in terms of appreciation, and also taking time, patience to nurture these assets that you have. And I chose Section 8 because I want to have a sustainable income streams. I didn't want a situation whereby the tenants leave and I'm back to square one again. So I wanted to have long-term tenants, and therefore I wanted to make sure that they stay a long time. And that's what got me into making sure that customer service becomes a high priority, because if they take care of your property, if they love the house, they love the neighborhood, love you, they're more likely to stay there longer, and therefore you have reduced levels of turnover, which means that the cash flow that you make each month stays in your pocket. So, I think on the first part, which is how can real estate help you achieve financial independence, I think I pretty much discussed that and how it can be a vehicle to financial independence. So what are some of the action items associated with real estate and financial independence? The first one I think you want to do, if you haven't done so, is to evaluate your portfolio, your current rental portfolio or your current real estate portfolio, and identify properties that don't align with your long-term goals, that don't align with some of the things which I've just talked about in terms of cash flow, appreciation, income streams and things like that. Next thing you want to do is to create a cash flow appreciation strategy and an appreciation strategy for new properties that you plan to acquire. Again, you don't want to just buy anything anywhere. Hopefully your future acquisitions are part of a cohesive strategy that's going to allow you to get cash flow and also allow you to get appreciation over time. The third action item would be things like reinvest your profits from real estate to accelerate your journey to financial independence, i.e. the profits that you make either through long-term appreciation, whether in terms of cash flow, you save that, and then you reinvest that towards acquiring more properties. So during the initial stage, I'm not a great fan of paying off all the loans that you have. So, for example, if you have a house with $100,000 loan balance, and you were able to sell another property, and you got $100,000. So what do you do with that? Depending on what phase of your life cycle or your real estate journey is, if you're in the growth stage, I would say I would not pay off that $100,000 asset or that loan balance. I would be more inclined to take the $100,000 and use it. Let's just buy 2, 3, 4, 5 houses. So maybe if you need $20,000 per house, then that $100,000, rather than paying off one loan, you can use that to acquire 5 properties. Now that $100,000 is being leveraged over multiple properties. So that's what I would do. Reinvest your profits and to build your portfolio as time goes by. Okay? Number 2, let's have a look. What's number 2 on this journey to financial independence and purpose? So what challenges do investors face on the road to financial independence? I've made every mistake you can think of. I've stepped on a few landmines, got blown up a few times, made some terrible mistakes. So I think it's important for me to talk about some of these challenges on the road to financial independence, mistakes that if you're not careful, you'll make. So the journey to financial independence is not without its challenges. Okay, there's no smooth sailing. There are ups and downs. There are hiccups on this journey. So real estate investors like you and I, obviously, we're going to face uncertainty. Things like market fluctuations, unexpected expenses. The roof may fail, major systems may fail, and therefore there are risks that can derail this journey that we're pursuing. They can be real. So, how do successful real estate investors like you and I navigate these inevitable obstacles that we're likely to face on this journey without really losing sight of our long term goals, our long term financial independence goals, and things like that? So, how do we stay focused, stay on track, on this journey when we are going to be hit with ups and downs and curveballs. Okay, so whether it's a housing crash, like we may have experienced in 2007 and 8, I've been through 6 cycles now. So there are housing downturns, crashes. Interest rates can increase. We've been through a period of time where interest rates went up. A lot of people are used to 2, 3, 4%. It suddenly went to 5, 6, 7, 8%. And so when interest rates go up, obviously it affects the real estate environment that we're in. So interest rate fluctuations, and also unexpected vacancies. If you don't run your business well, you're going to have a high turnover, and you're going to have a lot of vacancies, which can wipe out all your profits. Okay, so these are some of the curveballs, unknowns, that are likely to occur on your journey. The key, therefore, is to build what I call resilience into your portfolio. Okay, through a combination of risk diversification and maintaining liquid reserves. Have some money set aside for a rainy day, because you don't know what's going to happen, and you want to make sure that you got the funds there that will keep you going through good times and bad times. Okay, so how to do that? Another problem is tenants. You're dealing with people, and whenever you're dealing with people, you're going to have all the uncertainties that goes with people. You got some crazos out there. You got some really nice people. And you got everything in the middle of that. So that's some of the uncertainties and challenges that occur on your journey. So it can be overwhelming. It really can be. There are many times where I was questioning why I did this, but I still stuck with it, and now I'm so grateful that I did. So you can be overwhelmed by the demands of real estate investing, especially if all you're doing is focusing on profits. That's why successful investors like you and I, we have more of a balanced approach, Okay, by anticipating potential setbacks, we develop contingency plans, and we maintain a clear vision of where we're going, why we're going there. So that way, it keeps us motivated when the going gets tough. When the going gets tough, what happens? The tough get going. So this allows us to adapt to challenges while keeping our long-term focus of financial independence in mind. Okay, so there are challenges, and what are some of the action items associated with the challenges on this journey for financial independence through real estate? So one of the things is to develop a contingency plan for dealing with market downturns, including a liquid reserve fund, a rainy day fund, especially if you have high turnover and you have loss of income, which occurs sometimes. Also, you want to do is to create a thorough tenant screening and management systems to minimize tenant-related issues. I can't, speak too lightly of this, which is, whenever you're dealing with tenants, you're going to have problems, and you want to make sure that you have, you get the right person in your home, because if you got the wrong person in your home, believe me, it's not fun. Also another thing you want to do in terms of mitigate some of the challenges is to diversify your real estate portfolio across different property types and markets in order to mitigate risk. Okay, number 3. Let's have a look. What's number 3? How can you create a purpose-driven real estate portfolio? How can you create a purpose-driven real estate portfolio? So a successful real estate portfolio, in my opinion, is one that not only generates wealth, but also reflects your personal values. Okay? It's not just about making money. Does what you're doing reflect your personal value? Is there a conflict in that, or is it in peace, in harmony? You want investments that reflect your personal value, and also, in my opinion, contributes to your life purpose. And that's one of the reasons why I did Section 8, is because there's a subset of the community which was not being served. Whenever people hear the word Section 8 tenants, it's like ding, 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 alarm bells go off, and people don't want to deal with it. But there's a lot of good families in that program who, at the end of the day, really aren't any different than you and I. They really are not. The only difference is that they may not have any money, but they have the same aspirations for themselves, same aspirations for their children, their loved ones, and so on. They want to live in a decent house in a decent area and to rent from a good landlord. That's what they're looking for. So your challenge is to, and this is what I did, I got to know these people, and I was grateful that I was providing the service and helping these families, because if I didn't do it, who was going to do it? So I tried to align my goals with some of the purpose and mission of trying to make a difference in people's lives, and that's what I did. And I'm not saying you should do the same, but I think that if your investment strategy is in alignment with your investment, program, then it could be a problem. Okay, so the question becomes, to create a purpose-driven portfolio, investors must first of all clarify their values and how they want their investments to reflect those principles. So what is your values, and how do you make sure that your investments are aligned with that? So to create a purpose-driven portfolio, investors must first clarify their values and how they want their investments to reflect these principles. And once you kind of define this, you can then actively seek investment opportunities that allow them to both achieve your financial and your personal goals. This, in my opinion, not only enhances long-term wealth, but also brings a deeper sense of fulfillment. It's just great to help somebody. I think I told you a story where one of my tenants came to me a few years ago and said, "Mr. Joseph, I just want to let you know that because we have stayed at your home for, I think at that time, like 8 years, two of my children," she was telling me, "had got a full ride to go to school, go to college." And how that would not have happened if they had stayed in their previous address where they were. So those kind of things, you gotta be on the receiving end when someone tells you that. It's really heartwarming. It's really it makes you feel like you're making a difference, and it's wonderful. Okay, so what are some of the action items in terms of creating a purpose-driven portfolio? Things like define your personal values and identify how you want your real estate investment to reflect those. Research potential investments that align with your values, such as sustainable housing, low-income housing, project-based housing, and things like that. And then also another action item is reevaluate your portfolio to ensure that it supports both your financial and your mission-driven objectives. Okay, I think we're moving along. Again, if you got some questions, please put them in the chat box. I'm going to get to them very, very shortly. And if you want to do a one-on-one with me, feel free to go to my website, www.joeasimo.com. You can book an hour where we can do a deep dive into your situation and how I can be of assistance to you on your journey. Okay, so let's keep moving on to number 4. How can you generate passive income through real estate? I think I kind of touched upon this. Passive income obviously is a cornerstone of financial independence, and real estate can provide a reliable avenue for generating it. So, but how do you structure your investments so they provide consistent income with minimal day-to-day involvement? That's what we want. We want regular, consistent cash flow without us sort of getting bogged down in doing this ourselves. So generating passive income means setting up systems that allows you to receive income from your properties without requesting constant hands-on management. So essentially, you've got tenants in there who are paying reliably, consistently, and it's easy to track, and it's easy to sort of manage. It's also, I think, important to generate, if you're trying to generate passive income, is to have high quality tenants who reliably pay their rent, take care of the property, pleasant to deal with. Because what it does is that it minimizes turnover. If the tenants are happy for the most part, they tend to stay, and they tend to do the right thing. So building your strategy around passive income, investors can steadily grow their wealth without being tied down to the daily operations of their properties. So you can't do this by yourself. You do need help, whether it's a property manager, whether it be a partner, whatever it is. But it's hard to do this all by yourself. So what are some of the action items associated with generating real estate passive income? Automate routine maintenance for property management tasks that typically occur. Search the rent collections databases for more information about tenants and landlords. Also, I think I agree with this one, which is invest in quality property management services. There are people out there, that's what they do. They're really good at it. There's a lot of crappy ones, but there's some real good ones. And your job is to find those good ones and possibly have them manage and oversee your property portfolio. Number 3 is explore passive income vehicles like REITs, real estate investment trusts. These are passive. You just put some money in there and you get a return. Other things like syndications can also diversify your income streams as well. Okay, 7:33. I'm going to have to rush this a little bit further. Number 4. I think I've done that one. Number 5 then is, how do you balance wealth building with living a purposeful life? So how do you balance the two? We get into the crux of the session today. How do you get that balance? It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of wealth and overlook the importance of living a balanced and purposeful life. We get so consumed about making money that we negate or ignore other parts of our life that are really important and can give us that sense of balance. So how can real estate investors balance the demands of building their portfolios with the need for personal fulfillment? So how do you get that right balance? In my opinion, achieving financial independence is not just about accumulating wealth. It's also about creating a life where you have the freedom to pursue what really matters to you. Because what matters to me may be different than yours, and vice versa. So many investors struggle with burnout as they focus solely on their financial goals. That's all they, like blinkers, that's all they're interested in. You can get burnout because that's all you think about. Like, you're consumed with this thing night and day. So without clear boundaries, it could affect your personal relationships, your health, your hobbies, and also increase the growing, gap, the wealth gap, especially within different community types. So to avoid this, it's really essential that you set boundaries between work and personal time. Ensuring that your real estate business supports a balanced lifestyle. And we also recommend that you prioritize activities that bring joy and fulfillment. What makes you happy? It's pretty deep questions when you think about it. But it's different for everybody. So striking the right balance between wealth building and purposeful living allows investors like you and I to enjoy our financial freedom while nurturing relationships that are designed to be healthy and also give it a sense of passion. So in terms of action items, set clear boundaries for work hours and personal time to avoid burnout. Delegate or automate tasks that take time away from meaningful personal activities. Don't get too caught up in, you know, just the corporate stuff. You can get burnout. You can. It's important. I'm not saying you should ignore it. You definitely want to do what you got to do to keep your job, but there's more to life than just your job. And I think that was pretty clear during debates that were recently done. So number 6 is what can you learn from successful and failures of other investors? I mean, you're not the only one doing this. Other people have tried this beforehand. Some of them may be been successful, and many others have failed. So every investor's journey is filled with both successes and failures. It's not all bed and roses. Things go wrong, and but the important thing is that learning from experience of others can provide really invaluable insights into what works and what doesn't work. So some people are very good, are very people oriented, and some people are just not. So real estate offers a wealth of case studies, that have helped successful investors understand the importance of learning both their own experiences and those of others. So by studying the strategies of others, I mean, the saying, let's say, a wise man learns from his mistakes, but a genius learns from other people's mistakes. So the goal is to be a genius. You get stuff done. You answer questions. You're respectful. It can get you a long way. And so study some of those others who have been very successful. And what do they do? How would they advise you? And what should you not do? And also, you want to identify common mistakes by other investors and create a plan to avoid them. I mean, it's inevitable you're going to make mistakes. It's inevitable that you're going to have some challenges. But there are people out there who are more experienced than you. There are some people out there who will be more than happy to help you. They just do. They enjoy it, and so on. So that's that one. And then finally, let's wrap this up. It's time to sort of go to a conclusion. So how does financial independence with a purpose work? Okay, what is this all about? How do we achieve it? So achieving financial independence through real estate is a noble goal. It's legit. It's time tested. But it's even more rewarding when aligned with a life of purpose. Okay, so it's not just about the money. It's making sure you have a balance with all aspects of your life. So mastering both money and meaning allows you to build wealth, long-term wealth, while living a life that reflects your values, your passions, and also your personal mission. And as you apply the strategies that we talked about today and the lessons learned from today, remember that financial success and personal fulfillment are not mutually exclusive. It's not just about one or the other. If you get one, you're going to lose the other. No, it can be, complementary. They can complement each other. So strive to build a real estate portfolio that supports both your financial and your life goals, and you'll achieve a level of success that really goes far beyond monetary gains and so on. So that, my friend, is it for today in terms of the education part. And let's get down to the Q&A. So if you got some questions, please put them in the chat box. I'm going to get to them shortly. If you want to shoot me an email, you can shoot me an email at joe@joeasamoah.com, joe@joeasamoah.com. And likewise, if you want to book a one-on-one with me where you can do a deep dive into any subject that you can think of, please do so. Go to my website, Joe Asamoah, www.joeasamoah.com, and press the button that says Ask Dr. Joe. Ask Dr. Joe. And that's where you'll find me, and we can book a one-on-one for an hour. It is a paid service. So, but it's definitely worthwhile. It's $175 for 1 hour, and everybody that's been through it has really appreciated the help that I've given them. Okay, so with that said, let's get down to Q&A. for the day. And let's have a little Dow too. Hey guys, greetings from Phoenix. Thank you, Dr. Joe. Welcome back. We missed you. I missed you as well, guys. Well, within reason, of course. If it's not too much to ask, how can you show some video from the safari? I would love to see it. Yeah, I'll do some. I think we put some on Instagram. And so check me out on Instagram. Again, if you, I'm thinking, I would like to do another trip, maybe to West Africa, and sometime next year. Maybe we can, a group of us can go, a handful can go, not too large group, and hopefully I'll be able to host you. We'll go to different places, and you'll get to learn about the cultures of people, the foods, the entertainment, the nightlife, the cultural activities. That's what it's just fascinating. I think I may pull together a group of us, and we'll go to maybe West Africa or different countries sometime in 2005. So if you're interested, let me know, and if there's enough demand, maybe I can explore it further. Katie, welcome back. Sounds like you had an amazing experience. You seem particularly inspired today. I am inspired. I had a great time. And sign me up for the group excursion. Okay, Katie. Yeah, if anyone's interested, let me know, because I would like to schedule something. Maybe sometime next year. Maybe a group of us can go to East African or West African country. Have a real good time. Was your trip planned by a travel agency, or did you book at different stops yourself? On the safari, we had a company that organized the tour. In fact, maybe I'll try to get them on. Do a session with them. It was what's the name of the company? Oh gosh, Safari Group. Oh God, what was the name of the company? They're gonna kill me if I forget them. Let's have a look. See if I look at my phone. It was. Anyway, they were based out of Tanzania. And they're the ones that coordinated the safari. So essentially, we got ourselves to Tanzania, and they took over. They arranged for the flights. They arranged for the bookings, the accommodations, the safari itself, the meals, the entertainment. They arranged it all. We didn't have to do anything, and it was just unbelievable. Oh man, what's the Mander? Let's have a look. Mander, see if I can get. Yeah, it's Amanda. That's the name of the travel agency, and she's with. Oh my goodness, Safari, Stillwater. That's it, Stillwater Safari in Tanzania. So if you ever interested, go to shoot me an email. Maybe I'll. They did a fantastic job. It was fantastic, and I didn't have to worry about anything. They had it all covered, and each day went to different lodges. We had different meals, different services. We just kept on going on the safari to different stops, and so all the animals you can think of, the big ones, the stuff you see on TV, the elephants, the lions, the cheetahs, the zebras, the wildebeest, the hyenas, and the monkeys, and the cheetahs, and the leopards, and let me see them all. It's just amazing. Money is Anastasia, lifestyle success and beyond. Money is important. However, you're right. Aligning wealth goals with meaning of life is real. Also, to me, it's really important. Yeah, I mean, it's good to make money, and I think what I've learned is that if you're not careful, you can get an imbalance, and you could lose important things just because all you're hell bent, and that's all you're focused on is just getting more money, more money, more money. And there's more to it than that, in my opinion. And sometimes, enough's enough. I have enough houses. I don't need any more houses. I just got enough. I'm okay with that. I'm at peace with that. But I like to help other people. I like to help people, and and show them what I've done. Help them learn from my mistakes. So hopefully, we can help other people. I mean, the pie is big enough for everybody, in my opinion. It doesn't matter if I help you. It really doesn't matter. It's not like you're going to buy the whole of the USA. There's enough to go around. It's all good. I received my first 1099 MS miscellaneous from the voucher program. Okay, I filled an extension. I filed for an extension. So I just completed my taxes today. Good to you. I'm gonna do my taxes. Normally it's by October the 15th. We did our business taxes today. I was speaking to my CPA earlier on today. Uh, so this is my first 1099 MS miss because I self-managed to. 1099 is miss is interesting. Okay, keep going. The tenant's payments has to be entered in the tax return separately for the miss 99. Okay, I'm looking for the question. For whatever reason, I thought that miss 1099 would have the total amounts of rent payments. And then your final question is, I'm bringing this up because other new voucher program landlords may not be aware of this. Okay, what you're saying is that every year, if you're in the program, you're supposed to get issued a 1099. If you do work, and for somebody, if you receive money, you're supposed to get a 1099. So so every year, I get a 1099, just same with the Dow too, from the Housing Authority, which states how much money you receive from them, especially in the form of rents. So I don't do my taxes myself. So I have a CPA. So the way I do it is that every week, we track our income and expenses through QuickBooks. And so I have a bookkeeper who does a lot of the reconciling of the statements, the accounts, the inflows and outflow of money. So it's myself, the investor. I have a bookkeeper who manages the accounts, and we use QuickBooks as our software tool. QuickBooks Online, in fact. And so she does that on a regular basis. Every week she reconciles the account. She's based out of Canada somewhere, Charlene. She's really, really good. I've used her for about 13 to 14. She is fantastic. If any of you guys are looking for a good bookkeeper, let me know. I can refer her. But she keeps our books in order. So at any given time, we can pull reports of the inflows and outflow of money. Now, then you have what we call a CPA, a certified public accountant, who does your taxes based on the data that's provided by the QuickBooks in our case, which is reconciled by the bookkeeper. So you have the bookkeeper, the CPA, and you, the investor, all work in harmony, in tandem, to make sure that the taxes are done. The data is there to do the taxes. So I don't do my taxes myself, Dow too. So when you have the 1099 MISC, that's something that's issued by the Housing Authority, and they report that to the IRS. So you need to take that 1099 MISC and add that to your income. Maybe your rents, if it's a schedule, what we call Schedule E. And then you do your taxes, and then hopefully you've made money, and you may have to owe some taxes, or you may have some deductions that can offset the income that you've earned. So that's how I do mine. I'm not a CPA, but I do hire a CPA. She's really, really good, Iberi, and that's how I do our books. Okay, so we have a bookkeeper, we have the investor, we have the CPA, all working in tandem to get the job done. Melissa, hi, Dr. Joe. Melissa, the Denver Hey, Melissa, long time no see. I hope you're doing well in Denver. A lot has changed. I'm out of contract with both. Oh my goodness, both they fell through. The Cleveland duplexes. I closed on a single family in Pueblo 2 days ago. Congratulations, Pueblo. I suppose that's Colorado, I think. So you bought something in Colorado. I think you live in Denver. So you bought something a bit closer as opposed to in Cleveland, Ohio, which is further away. So congratulations. Please let me know about your single family in Pueblo. And if I can help you on that journey, please let me know. Good for you. Melissa Hales, congratulations on closing on the single family. Yes, congratulations, Melissa. Please let me know how it goes and so on. So what she say? Legal issue. The seller of one of the duplexes will not give me back. Will not give you back your EMD, earnest money deposit. He says he deserves 70% of it because we were under contract so long. Oh, well, that's a legal issue. Technically, the again, I'm not an attorney, so technically, the EMD should be held in escrow by the settlement company. It shouldn't be. Hopefully, you didn't give it to the uh, to the seller or to the agent. It should be held in escrow with a settlement company or attorney. So, in order for those funds to be released, both parties have to sign off. And it looks like they're not signing off. So, the only way you're going to get your security deposit back is through a lawsuit. And it's kind of in a holding pattern. Hopefully, it's not too large. And I don't know. Yeah, cause yeah, it's a little messy. It may be easy just to figure something out and just create a win-win, and that way everybody can just walk away. My agent says I can hire a lawyer and take him to court, or let the money sit in escrow for 2 years. At that point, it will be released. Yeah, you got a difficult agent there. I would speak to the broker of the agent. Yeah, I mean, it's, but normally you don't give your earnest money deposit to the agent. It's normally held by the escrow company, attorney, a third party. But yeah, in order to get that, you're gonna have to. I mean, if they're not gonna give it back to you, you're gonna have to, you know, yeah, take them to court, and that's gonna cost you money, especially if it's out of state, and or the money's gonna get tied up in escrow. Yeah, yeah, it's a tough one. You have to decide if it's worth it to string this thing out and pay money to get this money back, or just, I won't say cut your losses, but reach some kind of compromise where you get most of it back and you give them some money. Yeah, it's a messy one, escrows. Then I said I will still buy the place at a discount, so it's a stalemate at this point. Oh boy. I'm not sure what else I can do, but I'm not letting him keep my money. I agree, he shouldn't keep your money. But the question is going to be how you're going to get your money from them. If they are being belligerent, then maybe the only way you can get that is through some kind of judge order, a court order. Depending on how much it is, it could be a small claims court, it could be a civil suit. If it's a civil suit, you may have to get an attorney, so you're going to have to pay an attorney to represent you, and that's going to eat into the EMD. So, it's a messy situation, Melissa. I'm sorry about this. I will see if you can get some kind of compromise. That's, that makes sense for everybody, rather than trying to drag it out through a legal dispute, which may just eat into that EMD in terms of your cost. It's a tough one, Melissa. I'm not too sure how to handle that one. I've heard stories of that, but sometimes it's usually easier to see if you can get some kind of compromise rather than wading through the legal system, which is time consuming, takes a long time, and can be expensive. Okay, wealth and wellness with Grace. Thanks, Dr. Joe. Glad you had a wonderful experience in Africa. Welcome back. Okay, I am back. Let's have a look. I'm in the group for the group Safari. Okay, so it looks like we got at least several takers now for the Safari. Okay. Yeah, I would love to come too. Oh my goodness. So everyone's coming. So we got at least 3 people want to go on the Safari. All right. What are the best tips to build relationship with banks? This is from World 407. And what are the best ones for the DMV area? What are the best tips to build relationship with banks? The best ways to build relationships, I would just say, are usually with local, smaller banks as opposed to the big box banks. The Wells Fargos, the Bank of America, the Chasers of this world. They're the big ones. Normally, with smaller banks, local banks, usually decisions are made locally, which means that you can develop relationships easier, and hopefully, you can get advocates that will work harder for you. That's why I prefer to deal with smaller banks as opposed to the big bulk banks. And you can call them up if you have a presentation. You can share with them who you are, the business that you're in, and why they should do business with you and things like that. You can start nurturing those relationships now. But they're easier usually to get to know these people, and because the decisions are made locally as opposed to some of the big places where the decisions are made at corporate level, which could be out of state, and the people locally are just collecting data or collecting forms and documents so they can pass it off to people overseas, out of town to make their decisions and so on. So I would say try to get local, smaller banks. There's a lot of them. Go to RIA meetings, speak to people and find out what banks they use. Maybe you can get some referrals, and that way, when you approach these bank officers, you come in by saying, I was introduced to you, or so-and-so suggested I give you a call. It's a warm lead, a warm transfer, handoff, than a cold one. Okay, hopefully that's helped. Let's have a look. Katie, I'm curious to know how often you invest in properties that are located in up-and-coming areas or neighborhoods that are not yet gentrified, whether inner cities or in peripheral location of a metro. Okay. Well, I like to, in the DC area, for example, because that's where I invest. It's expensive here. So you have to start where you can afford. And if you can't afford to invest here, then it is what it is. But what I found is that if you get to know a city or wherever you are well, you understand what I call the path of growth. Where is the growth trending? Is it, let's say, east to west? Is it north to south? Is it west to east? Is it south to north? I mean, if you understand your local market, you have an idea of what we call the path of growth. And so if you want to invest in that path, which means that if you can't afford too much, if you can't afford, let's say it's west to east, okay? So the more east you go, the better the neighborhood. So you start off a little bit west and see if you can afford there. If you can't, then you keep on going a little bit further away from west until you reach a point whereby it's affordable. And then since you're in the path of growth, which may take 5-10 years from now, whatever it is, then at some point in the future, there's a pretty good chance, I mean, nobody knows, but there's a pretty good chance that the growth will come in your way. So you're able to get in there a lot cheaper, but just wait and let time take care of it. So that way, in the future, the growth is going to come over to your side and therefore increase the value of your property. Hopefully that makes sense. But you want to kind of go in the path of growth, and that's a very localized knowledge. Wonderful your risk tolerance in this regard compared to A, B areas, and whether your position has changed over the course of your investment journey. Yeah, I mean, I'm now more, since I believe that the real money is appreciation, I like to buy in areas where there's a better chance of getting that appreciation. Not all areas are the same, and not all not all zip codes or neighborhoods are the same. So you want to buy in the path of growth, where over time people are going to want to live there, and generally, because it's on the path of growth, the prices will increase over time. Okay, it's now 8 o'clock, my friends. I'm going to have to wrap this up. Let's have a look. Money is in escrow, but he won't sign off. Okay, so yeah, that's a lawsuit. It's in escrow, and it needs usually a couple of signatures in order for the funds to be released by the escrow company. And if they're not signing off on it, then the money is just going to be held there in a holding pattern, which means that you're going to have to get a judge's order, a court order to release for the escrow company to release the funds. Yeah. Thoughts on City First? Okay, well, let's do that offline. I do have several accounts with City First. They're a local bank here in Washington, D.C. And if you're interested in doing some business with them, I have quite a few relationships down there. So you may want to give me a call or schedule a session, and then we can talk about that in a bit more detail. I think I can help you out with City First. They're a good bank, and I know some of the people down there. Okay, my friends, it is now 8:01, so I'm going to wrap it up for the day. Hopefully today was a good session. And so come back next Wednesday, Wealth Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, where we have another Wealth Wednesday. But yes, I'm back in town, and looking forward to continuing this journey and encouraging you to live a financially free, striving for financial independence, but also having a purpose to what you're doing. Again, if you want to book a one-on-one with me, go to my website, www.joeasimo.com, www.joeasimo.com. You can book a one-on-one, and then we can do a deep dive into whatever subjects is of importance to you, whether it be renting, financing, renovations, finding deals, analyzing deals, whatever it is. If it's anything to do with real estate, book a session with me, and we can do a deep dive, and hopefully I can answer a lot of the questions that you have. So my friends, I will call it a day for today, and hopefully I'll see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. But if you're interested in going on a safari or going to another African country, maybe West Africa, please let me know. My goal is to do these things every so often and bring some people over, and we'll have a great time. And you'll learn about different cultures, different people, different foods. We'll be hanging out, going to entertainment places. We'll be visiting certain places, meeting people. We'll be doing a really, truly immersive experience, as opposed to just going to some place and hanging out at the touristy places. Nah, that's not for me. There's a time and place for touristy places, but there's a really time to get to develop relationships with people and have a completely different experience. So with that said, my friends, I will see you next Wednesday. Take care. Have a good night. Bye for now.